No, warm welcome and late morning, soon good afternoon, Julio. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. So, the whole event so far has been about the telco and network evolution. I think we've discussed about the telcos infrastructure came first, right? Everybody focused on deployments. Then everybody went to cloud, virtualized. And this is the AI era. And we thought who better to have to come over, talk to us about what does the future look like, how you guys thinking. So we'll keep it open. Would love to know how you guys are transforming and maybe first introductions.
Sometimes I say that I have the best job in the world because I get to architect and deliver that whole new technology stack. But then they tell me that I only have a couple of years. So I changed my mind. So that's about us.
No, awesome. No, it's a amazing thing, keeping prices stable through the years, keeping it same and still offering the best in the market. So congratulations on the feat so far. Any perspective on the price competitive, where the market is going, Julio, how you see that? And while you're adopting best in class platform software, do you think you can still hold the edge on being the most competitive in the market still?
It all starts by having the right architecture. We are focusing on being cloud native from day one. And when we talk about cloud native from day one, it's not just about the cloud component itself. It's about the data component. For us, we have three very important sets of data. One is customer. The other one is network. And the third one, I want to talk about finance/supply chain. And for us, it's extremely more important to harmonize across those data sets. And that means data schemas, data structures, technologies. Because once you have that, it's extremely easy to actually apply AI across those data sets. What AI does very well? AI does very well things that you do well. It actually performs them cheaper, faster, human error-free. But for that, requires that access to that data real-time, near real-time, or at the time that you require. So for that, our focus has been having that architecture from day one, and then start to implement those small improvements. You talk about cost efficiency. There are small use cases that AI on a daily basis help us. We're not talking about just the big digital twins, but things like, hey, we need to send a technician to a particular place to perform a repair. It's very important that that technician has ability to see what has happened there, what is the work to be done. Instead of having it distributed across multiple systems, utilizing AI to have plain English and understand it was the task at hand.
Awesome. And do you still measure with cost per ticket is down? And do you drive those efficiencies as well? Is that a good metric to measure?
That's definitely a very important metric for us. We have definitely seen over the last couple of years, we have reduced our time to market, time to repair, as well as cost per ticket, like almost by 50%. And we do that while increasing actually customer satisfaction. If you can predict and react quickly to when there is a problem, your customer is going to be happy and you're going to be more efficient.
Well, awesome. And what are the top 2 or 3 areas where you are investing for future as well, right? AI, you're right. AI native architecture is big. Yesterday we had some partners here and the discussion was, while AI is there, the stacks are not ready for it because the orchestration layer is missing. The systems are not connected to have AI create an impact. So how do you see it ready in 2 to 3 years as well, Julio?
The transformation is going across the whole ecosystem. If you start thinking about the customer, and let's start from the very other part of the customer, how the whole customer journey is evolved. We went from an ecosystem where the customer were comparing prices across multiple websites, where now they have a high-tech concierge, which is actually an AI agent, which is helping doing that. It's actually not just checking price. It's actually checking, performance, latency. At the same time, doing real-time analysis of reviews in such a way that actually provide the customer a digital footprint on what it needs in his home. It's not just in the acquisition process, actually in the support process later on. You actually see that the customer is starting to use like natural language processing in order to, I want to set up this particular set of parental controls. Or actually you want to have a whole complex set of ecosystem devices in your home. understand where is some of them going wrong. So we need to adapt, and we have the technology to adapt for that customer behavior. But similarly, in the infrastructure is dramatically changing also. High speed, low latency, reliability, table stakes. But how we want to achieve those is evolving very quickly. Moving forward, we want to have a set of AI agents that actually is going to provide, not just break fixes, but also predictivity with, digital twins and the ability to actually not just correct that, but also inform those customers when something is happening and making sure that you can, have that kind of context. So, basically all these areas where we need to invest, all the way from the customer to infrastructure itself.
Oh, I love it. The passion for customer and what customers are expecting, thinking backward, building maybe the telco for specs for customers. That's very unique, I would say. So congrats for that. And how do you see the future, right? There's so much talk about humanoids, AI agents. You look at the future home, it will have 5 or 6 robots running. They will suck up the bandwidth, maybe need more bandwidth. So how do you see connecting to home, driving more business or being of purpose to the consumers in future?
I mean, it's quite obvious that a lot of the user of the network in the future are not going to just be humans, are going to be machines. And that is going to change, a little bit how we interact. First of all, I mean, it was easy to predict the human traffic model. We have peak hours, busy hours. That's probably not the case any longer in a machine-to-machine environment. It's going to be much more driven from events rather than human behaviors. For such, we need to have like AI native traffic management that I can actually predict for that. And it's not only that, like the events. Before, if we think about it, humans, was much more like a download type of activity. Machines is going to be very different. We're going to have events that actually is going to trigger like high video loads that need to be upstream in a very, very real time, or high complex telemetry that needs to be absorbed. So networks being symmetrical is an absolute must. So, machine to machine is a reality, and we need to adapt the network to make sure we respond quickly to it.
No, absolutely. And let's say the telemetry itself, right? If we look at it, you have the bots, cleaner bots in the house. The latency requirements there will be different. Maybe you've thought through the infrastructure for humans to use it. Now with machines, of course, it will be maybe 100-folds of data consumption. So is the architecture ready as well, Julio, right now? The way you're supporting the households and the way you're sending back the data, ingest processes, etc. How's that strategy?
I think the network is always going to be a challenge, in particular with machine to machine in many different angles. Bandwidth, in particular stream, is something new that we'll have to address. But in my opinion, the biggest challenge moving forward is going to be latency. Some of these applications will require near real-time response. So for us to talk about like low single digits round traffic is going to be a reality for many applications, whereas industrial, autonomous vehicles, etc., etc. So we need to make sure that we architect the network in such a way that for many of these applications, compute peering is actually quite close to the customer itself. In this particular case, the customer is a machine bot.
No, absolutely. And how do you think of security? Big topic for everyone. In-house data collection, you're going to the consumer. So how secure is by design these stacks? How you're thinking of technology?
It's quite obvious that, as we go much more into machine-to-machine communication, those elements are going to be the perfect entry points for security vulnerabilities. We need to start thinking about it. How do we monitor that traffic real time with AI? I mean, we need to start saying, hey, is this particular fridge sending too much data 12 in the morning? Those kind of activities need to really, really be monitored real time. And, it's not a secret that these days, the way that the new AI security threats are coming can only be in response with AI protection. So we are definitely spend of time thinking around those kind of activities.
Wonderful. And what's the best you have seen so far in the conference here, Julio? Just off topic, which you believe you can take back to your office and guide the team as well? Just an open-ended question.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the third year in a row where AI is very dominant in the Mobile World Congress. This is the first time that I start to see that a lot of the use cases are truly real. Whether it is, in the operations, whether it's in the customer acquisition, whether it's in marketing, whether it's in internal efficiency, this is the first time that I actually see a lot of them real life deployment, not just POCs, and actually not in terms of just a technology deployment, but actually bringing that ROI for the businesses. So that's what I'm actually taking back.
Good. So AI is becoming real, impactful, and at scale now.
You said it better than I did.
Good, good. And it's an interesting topic since yesterday morning has been around ecosystem. You cannot do it all on your own. So you need a partner ecosystem, OEM ecosystem to play with you. So how do you think of ecosystem from a fiber perspective?
Yeah, it's been a journey for us. I mean, if you think of our last 15 years, we have, evolved in this thought. We started with actually building a lot of this infrastructure and also a lot of our systems and tools in home. As we evolved, we realized that maybe that was not the most scalable, solution. So moving forward, what we have been doing lately is actually trying to partner with the best in class out there and actually drive the technology forward. We definitely want to be the first to market in things like speeds and actually lead across there. We also want to make sure we partner with some of the biggest AI vendors and ensure that, we deploy it as quickly as possible to the market. So actually, we see ourselves like influencing the ecosystem, both from a technology point of view, but also from a business model point of view, in terms of setting the prices, ensuring that, we have the right business models out there. So that's how we see it. But there is exceptions to everything. And probably the biggest exception is the customer experience. Everything that touches our customer, we think that is extremely important and personal. So that's actually a part of our ecosystem that we still keep in-house.
Sure. No, that's interesting. That's important. Keeping the ecosystem, impacting the customers together. But is there a space for, of course, AI again becomes more personal, I would say. But how about the ecosystem play, field to market, go to market, response to customers, AI players on mean time to repair? So is there a space you have created within your org of this maybe I don't want to build on my own experience I want to own, so I want to do it. So how you think about it, Julio?
Yeah. So as I said, right, anything that is very close to our customer experience, we want to keep very close. But then when you think about, field service, service assurance, network provisioning, we actually partner with the best in class out there. But when we mean partner, doesn't mean that we just completely outsource. We have our own business processes, our own business workflows, and some of them what we think they are a key differentiator. So then partnering with these main platforms in the ecosystem, what we do is we implement, we call our AI flavor to it, and ensuring that we, what the AI does best, right? Which is really perform the things that you already do well, much better, faster, cheaper, with zero human errors. So that's how we think about it.
Oh, wonderful. And everybody's talking about what next as well. So how do you see the fiber journey as well evolve, or maybe the fiber industry as well? So how do you see it evolve?
Yeah. So if you look at the future, I only know that two things are for sure true. Number one, things are fast right now, but the pace of change is the slowest that ever is going to be. It's even going to get faster. The second thing is we are very, we always overestimate what's going to happen in the next couple of years, but underestimate what's going to happen 10 years from now. So when I look at the future, a couple of things I think that are important. Number one, machine to machine is going to start to dominate this ecosystem. And when machine to machine is going to start to dominate this ecosystem, we'll have to start thinking about business plans and business models that are not human-centric. That's going to affect all the way from billing, customer support, operations, etc., etc. So that's one trend that I definitely will see. The other one that I will definitely see is I want to use the word ultra-convergence. As we go moving forward, the connectivity is going to be, seamless, and that goes wireless, fixed, satellite. So I definitely see over a few years that level of ultra-convergence. And the last one is definitely, we see the humans interacting with the network. That's also going to evolve. I want to use the word where there is going to be certain level of AI framework that as humans is going to interact on a day-to-day basis, where it is to consume, to buy, to interact, social media, and it's definitely gonna change, the whole how we interact with with the network, but potentially with each other.
No, I agree. I think autonomy is the going to be the game for sure for network with the scale size. That's what everybody's talking about, and we can see it. Yeah, I think if we have to be real to the customers, fiber absolutely. It has transformed. I would say both for B2B, B2C, back in action. So I do see all telcos investing a lot in it. Infrastructure converged network as well, a big theme in the market right now. One takeaway we had taken from last couple of days of discussion is network as the new control plane for everyone, and it will be maybe the gateway to the AI infrastructure in future. So that's what we are all looking for, and so I love this interaction. Any questions, team, you have for Julio?
So the question is how fiber is looking at the industry, and by industry you mean like the service provider industry, or
Mainly the real industry like manufacturing, energy, and things. Because as the technology evolves, there's an importance with future coming in, like autonomous vehicles and many autonomy into the industry. So
So is there a B2B play coming? Like,
Yeah.
I know you focus.
No, I understand the question now. So let me start that we are definitely, our lion's share is like B2C. We are mostly at this point a B2C service provider. We do have, quite a few of what you call small business offering too. And moving forward, we're starting to climb the ladder, right? We're starting to hit a little bit more into what I will call the M within the business side. How do we see this evolving? So, as I said, right, like when we start talking about some of these industrial use cases, in the future, you're going to start looking a lot about machine-to-machine connectivity. And then it's when you start thinking about some of these new network characteristics that are important. Single-digit latency. And by single-digit, I'm not talking 9 milliseconds. I'm talking more closer to 4 or 5. 100% symmetry. There's use cases there where it's not just downstream. That upstream is as important as it is. And complete different, what I will call traffic models. Not any longer, humans type of demand, much more event-driven demands. So we definitely, when you start addressing that kind of market, we need to have a network that actually can fulfill all those dimensions.
One quick question. You were discussing about customers. So you have the global customers. How is that regulations in some countries are flexible, some countries are very, very stringent? How is that you're stitching regulations and innovations together that will actually contribute more to the space of telecommunication?
Yeah, we are just US based. So for us, in that sense, I would not say that regulation is simple, but at least we're just dealing with one main regulator, which is North America. But of course, even North America, you have different states, and all of them has its little nuance. No secret, right? Service provider is a highly regulated environment, and you just need to deal with the regulator in a way that you can influence, what you think is right, and it's a process. Let me put it like that. But yes, we are just North America.
And Julio, a question, we ask all our customers and prospects, right, as executives, on the talent of future. Everybody faces that challenge. AI native talent is one we hear. Second is people with more domain context who can think of processes, simplify it. So what do you guide your team for on skills they should be building? And also, how should we be getting ready with our workforce as well? Any guidance, suggestions for us?
Yeah, that's an easy question. No, it's not. Definitely, there is a couple of aspects of it. One is extremely important to understand the business processes. And business process go all the way from, you want to hear me talk about like, customer experience, acquisition, support, all the way up to how you manage the network, including all the way how you manage inventory. So that business process is extremely important. They know how to, you cannot outsource that. So that's, like the bread and butter of a service provider. At the same time, then technology is evolving very, very, very quickly. So you need to have that also strong technical component. And when you think about technical component, AI is, definitely becoming very, very, very key. But guess what? Actually, doing workforce changes and doing like, programming AI is actually not that complex in a sense. So what we definitely need to have is a workforce that is very, very highly adaptive. Because as I said before, this is the pace of change is the slowest right now. So when you think about talent acquisition, you need to be at a talent workforce that actually can adapt and evolve quickly.
Oh, wonderful. And another question, more personal, off the records, is planning the time, right? So much evolution happening. One is we can get carried away with daily operations, daily challenges. But to think in future, you just need to block time, get ideas, etc. So suggestions on how much time generally leaders like you spend on external events, learn about it, bring it back. So any suggestions for the team here as well? Any personal experiences?
Well, I mean, it's quite obvious that leadership roles, you need to have time management. Part of it is definitely ensuring that you can manage your stakeholders. Another part is ensuring that actually you can manage your internal governance. And a third component is actually understand how your ecosystem evolves across across your organization. And there is not a fixed amount of time that you evolve across those three different domains. It really changes where you are. There might be a particular situation where you actually steady state and you can spend a lot of time actually managing your stakeholders and actually predicting the future. But you might be in the middle of a very, very large transformation, and then everything is going to be around internal efficiency and internal governance. So, of course, I mean, you need to have always the three vectors. It's never one or the other. But, basically how you allocate time between them really varies where are you in the organization. But for sure, it's very easy to get stuck in the day-to-day work and stop looking at what's ahead.
Yeah.
In an ecosystem like this, which is changing so quickly, that's a pitfall. We need to make sure that you always have that particular set of time to ensure that you can look what's coming ahead.
No, wonderful. I've loved this conversation, Julio. I learned a lot. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Lalit.
And thank you guys. Thank you.